How to sell your musical instruments in Connecticut. Wanted to buy all instruments in any condition: new, used, and vintage guitars, accordions, drums, keyboards, and band instruments. We service all of Connecticut, including Hartford, Waterbury, New Haven, Danbury, Bridgeport, Torrington, and even into Massachusetts. Welcome to this video presented by SellYourMusicalInstruments.com. In this presentation, we will share with you how to sell your new, used, and vintage musical instruments, and we will go over briefly what we look for in an initial inspection. We are based out of New England, specifically Massachusetts and Connecticut, and we travel throughout the region buying used and vintage musical instruments for parts, resale, and repair. We also do insurance appraisals. We can be reached at 508-688-5138 or on our website at SellYourMusicalInstruments.com. Contact us today for an appraisal of your instrument. Traveling throughout New England, we come across all kinds of instruments. Many you have heard of before: guitar, bass, drums, keyboards, and all kinds of amplifiers. We come across band and orchestra instruments, recording and ham radio gear, and tons of accordions. About half of the items are in playable condition, but the rest need repair or we just use for parts. We also hold buying events throughout the region. In the past, we've had shows in Danbury, Waterbury, New Haven, and Hartford, Connecticut, Warwick, Rhode Island, Boston, Springfield, and Worcester, Massachusetts. We buy most major brands of guitars like Martin, Taylor, Fender, and Gibson, as well as others. Band and orchestra instruments from Yamaha, Bundy, and LeBlanc. Accordions from Bell, Excelsior, Crucianelli, Giulietti, as well as others. Amplifiers from Fender, Marshall, Mesa Boogie. New and vintage drums from Gretsch, Ludwig, Slingerland, Pearl, Tama, DW, and cymbals from Sabian, Paiste, and Zildjian. Keyboards from Yamaha, Roland, Korg, and Moog. PA systems from EV, EAW, Mackie, QSC, and Peavey. But we buy all brands, and these are just a few. We are also interested in hi-fi, home stereo, and ham radio equipment, DJ lighting, and sound gear. And in the past, we've also purchased large lots of media like records, CDs, posters, and sheet music. Pickups are available as we travel throughout New England, or you can stop by one of our locations in East Hartford, Connecticut, Leominster, Massachusetts, or Southbridge, Massachusetts. Let me briefly tell you what we look for during an initial inspection. In regard to fretted instruments, we check the cosmetic condition, we go over the frets and the bridge, check the electronics, and look to see if all the parts are original and intact. With the amplifiers, we check to make sure they power up and produce sound, and look at the cosmetic condition. When we look at band and orchestra instruments, we check the pads, the cork, and make sure all the slides and valves move freely. We also check for dents and wear. Keyboards and other electronics can be difficult to test. We make sure all the keys work correctly, check the sound patches, we check all the ins and outs for sound. In regard to drums, we check the cosmetic condition, the rims, the lugs, hardware, and heads. We check all the cymbals for cracks and keyholing. Remember, we pay top dollar for instruments in great condition, but we also buy many instruments that most dealers turn away that have major flaws and are in need of repair, or that we can just use for parts. This is a basic overview. If you have any new, used, or vintage musical instruments you wish to sell, call us at 508-688-5138. You can also go to SellYourMusicalInstruments.com, find the Sell Your Gear tab, and fill out our online form. We can also arrange a visit and someone can come out to you, or we can direct you to one of our many locations in the Northeast.